this video, I'm going to show you how to make a time capsule. We're going to make a bottom part of the time capsule, a lid, and then a space for a hidden compartment where we're going to put our drawing of our time capsule inside of it. So let's go and get started. So go ahead and click on Create New Design. Then you're going to bring a red box over. Let's click on the corner of the red box. So when I'm referring to the front part or the length of the box, it's going to be the part facing us. Then the width would be the distance between the front and the back, and then the height would be how tall the object is that we're working on. So let's click on a corner. The length of this is going to be 60, 40, and let's change the height to 30. I'm going to change the color. Now I'm going to click on the box. I'm going to click on duplicate. I'm going to move this outward, 1, and then 1. So we're moving this box towards this one and then over to the right one. Now what we're going to do with this back corner is I'm going to click on the back corner and I'm going to drag it towards the front right. I'm going to make this a 4x4. Change the color of this. So we're going to go to the top view. I'm going to center my cube so it's lined up with this grid. And that's going to help some of these parts here that we're going to snap into place. So I'm going to go to top view, click on that corner part, that bumper, and I'm going to duplicate. And we're going to space these out about every 19 millimeters. Click on duplicate again. And duplicate one last time. And remember, it needs to go over 1 on this corner here, so you should have 1 millimeter going over the left hand side. I'm going to zoom in here. And you could click on one of the bumpers, hold down shift. And that'll help you select the other bumpers while you're holding down shift. Or you could click and drag your mouse, and then you should just have a blue outline that goes around each of those bumpers there. I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to move this backward, and then just make sure that you have on these corner bumpers, they're going over 1 millimeter on the top and on the right side for this bumper, and then 1 millimeter on the left hand side for this bumper over here. I'm going to grab this bumper now. I'm going to zoom in so you could grab it after you duplicate. And I'm going to duplicate this one. I moved it about 19 or 20 millimeters. So I'm going to select that middle one, duplicate, and then I'm holding down shift so it could go over to the right hand side. When I'm dragging it, it could go in a straight line. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the front view. I'm going to click on this front bumper here, click on duplicate. I'm going to move it down with a height of 4. I'm going to click on this back right corner of that same shape. And as long as you have it selected, you could turn the view over. And I went to the back right corner. Looks like I have to move it just a little bit more, 1 more millimeter. And you can orbit around your shape to make sure that you have 1 millimeter sticking out of each side of your time capsule. So the finished bottom part of your time capsule should be 42 by 62. Because we're going 1 millimeter on the outside of the left hand side and then 1 millimeter extra on the right hand side. Okay, now I'm going to click on that bottom part we just made, duplicate, and I'm going to click on this cone up here, and I'm just going to change it to 26 to bring it up to the height. And I'm just orbiting around to make sure that it evenly was brought to the top. So what we're going to do now is we're going to duplicate the inside of this red box here. We're going to make the inside of this hollow, so I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to click on this corner on the front left hand side, and we're going to move it inside from the left 1 millimeter, and then from the front 1 millimeter towards the center of this box. And then you're going to do the same thing with this back right hand corner. I'm just going to grab this cone and move it up 1 millimeter, and we're going to turn this into a hole, and I'm going to select everything with my mouse. Make sure everything's selected. And then I'm going to group. and that should create a hole there. You can go back to the color and click on multicolor. So now we're going to make a lock. I'm going to bring out a cylinder and a triangle and a box. I'm going to go from the side view. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees and maybe bring this up out of the bottom part of our grid. Go to top view. I'm going to click on the cylinder, click on a corner, make both sides 10 by 10. I'm going to click on this drop down menu here, and I'm going to click on sides and go all the way to 64 to make it rounder. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this triangle over, center it with the inside of that circle, make this triangle 10 by 10, and then center it again. You can also select both, click on align, and that'll help you center it. And it's going to group it. I'm going to duplicate that keyhole. I'm going to make this one black. I'm going to make this one a hole. You could center both of these. Clicking on a line. I'm going to group both of these. I'm going to bring this keyhole over. I'm going to align those. I'm going to change the color on the box. Group them. Go to colors, change it back to multicolor. I'm going to click on a corner. I'm going to make this 6 by 6 with a height of 2. Click on the degree, change it to 90 degrees, and we're going to put this on the front. So let's drag it over. I'm going to zoom out and group everything. Move that to the side there. Now I'm going to bring out a round roof. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. I'm going to click on a corner. I'm going to make the length of this 60 by 40 with a height of 20. And I'm just dragging it over so I have some more space. I'm going to click on it, duplicate, or instead of dragging it over, you can click on a corner, and I'm going to change the length of this to 4. And now, right now it's lined up with the edge. I'm going to bring it out to 1 millimeter, and I'm going to grab a corner, bring it towards me 1 millimeter. I'm going to go towards the back, bring that out 1 millimeter. And also with the height, change the height by 1 millimeter. So I'm going to click on that shape we just made. I'm going to duplicate. So I'm going to change the width of this to 32, and then the height to 16. And then I'm going to center this. Want to make it even. What you could also do is you could click on that inside part, hold down shift, click the outer ring, click on align, and then click on that center, and it'll align it for you. Okay, so we're going to make this inside part a hole. And I'm going to hold down shift and grab the outer ring and group those two. Now you're going to have an indented part, so you can tell that it's going inside of this time capsule just a little bit, so it's going to have a lip there. And so I'm going to change the color of this lid, and the same thing with the box. I'm going to go to top view, swing around here. And I'm going to duplicate this ring. I'm going to duplicate it 3 times. On this last one here, you want to go in over the edge, just like it was on the other side. So it should be going over just 1 millimeter. And now I'm going to go top view. I'm going to group everything. Click on colors, multicolor. And you can actually ungroup. I'm going to move this to the side and then hit undo to move it back. I just want to make sure that I have this red part selected. I'm going to duplicate, and when we duplicate, try not to let go of that red part that we're going to duplicate. So I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to move in from this front right corner in towards the center, 1 millimeter. So 59 by 39. Same thing with this back side here. This should be 58 by 38. I'm going to move this down by 1 millimeter as well. So 19. And then we're going to turn this into a hole. Again, I haven't clicked off of it yet. And that's the duplicated part there. Now I could go to the bottom, select everything. I'm going to group, and that should give us a hollowed out lid. Click on colors, multicolor, and there's a lid there that's hollowed out. If you want to, you could try this lid out and see if it fits on top, but what we're going to do is we're going to move this to the side, and we're going to create the part that we're going to put the treasure on top of. So I'm going to move this to the side, and we're actually going to flip this lid here a little bit later because we need all the hollow pieces facing up to print with the least amount of filament. So we're going to bring our box out to put our treasure on top of, and we want this to be a little bit smaller, so we're going to make the length 55. I'm going to make this smaller, 35, and the lid could be 28 in height. Because we want to be able to take this part that's going to have the treasure in it, make it hollow, and remove it from the treasure chest. Now you can see if this fits. First I'm going to change the color. Right, and you should have some gaps around the edges here. If it is too close to the edges, this won't be able to come out, and it actually might get stuck, and then you'll end up breaking it. And we have to print this separately anyway, so that's why I'm keeping it outside of the treasure box. But once we print it, it will go inside. So now let's make some coins on top. You can use anything inside a ticket can for the treasure. Make some of these look like diamonds or coins. Okay, so I'm going to change the color of this. And click on a corner. I'm going to make these 4 by 4 with a height of 2. We need 1 millimeter going inside of this box, and then 1 millimeter sticking out so it looks like a coin. And I'm going to click on this drop down menu, and I'm going to slide over the sides. I'm going to max all of these out to make this look as round as possible. Now the height of our box was 28. So I'm going to bring this up 27. Click on the cone. Now I'm going to go to the top view. And you might have to zoom in order to get a hold of this coin here. Alright, so you have half of this coin going through the box. The reason why we need this coin going halfway through this box is because if we print this out and it's just sitting on top, then the coins are going to fall off. So I'm going to line this up with the edge. Alright, I'm going to click on top view. I'm going to get this in my view here, and I'm going to teach you how to duplicate these coins as quickly as possible. So I'm going to click on duplicate. I'm only going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard. I'm going to move this over to the right until it snaps into place. Then click on duplicate, and it's going to duplicate right next to the last coin. and it might go over just a little bit, so maybe you want to remove that last one. You can even center these. So I'm going to click on the first one there, hold down shift. I have shift held down this whole time while I'm clicking on the next coin. I'm going to move my arrow key to center this. And I'm going to click on duplicate again while I have them all selected. And I'm going to use the arrow keys until they snap into alignment. Then I'll click on duplicate again to help duplicate the coins. So if your coins aren't lined up, you could click on the box. You could click on this light bulb, highlight all your coins by clicking and dragging your mouse over them, click on group, click on the light bulb to bring the box back, and then your coins should be grouped together. And then you could drag and center these. And so again, you could fill up this treasure here. You could use anything inside of Tinkercad to make it look like you have treasure here. Maybe they might even have some skulls, and learn how to make some diamonds in here by changing the shapes. Okay, so now that I have this box, it's not grouped yet with these coins or your treasure. I'm gonna click on the box, I'm gonna click on duplicate, and I'm gonna move it in towards the center. So just to make sure it's a little bit sturdy and there's more thickness for this box here, I'm going to go in by 2 millimeters on each side, so 33, 53, and then over here I'm going to bring it in so it's going to say 31 and 51. Alright, now I'm not letting go of that box that I have. I'm going to turn it into a hole. I'm going to move it down 1 millimeter, and I'm going to group the hole and the box, and we should have a container down there. Now I could hold down shift and grab all my coins, group those, and I'm going to flip this upside down 180 degrees, and now my treasure is on the bottom. So it's red, that means it's probably going through my grid here, so I just have to bring this up. Just make sure it's on 0. So I have all the pieces aligned here. I just need to flip this lid here. So you want all the hollow pieces facing up. I'm going to go from an angle. I'm just going to rotate this 180 degrees. And then you want to add your initials to the inside of each piece, because if we're going to use support material and I need to put them inside of the tanks to wash off the support material, then I need to know whose treasure box, whose lid, and whose hidden compartment belongs to who. So you could use the text tool, add your initials to each of these pieces here. Make sure you're not just throwing your initials right there. You want to add your initials and make sure you group them inside there. Your initials don't have to be this big, right? You could go click on the drop down menu and change the size of your initials. You can also grab a corner and then make sure you group it to each of these parts here. Make sure that your initials are not in the way, right? Because this compartment's going to go inside of here. So if your initials are popping up like that, then this compartment might not be able to fit inside of this box here. So maybe you want to put your initials on the outside. Make sure that if this container was flipped upside down, will your lid be able to close? And if you put initials here, will that interfere with your treasure once your treasure is facing upward? All right, so make sure all these pieces are lined up so I can print more of these at one time. Make sure all your hollow pieces are facing up, and also make sure that they're aligned just like this so I can print more time capsules at a time. And when you click on export, you want to select everything in this design. You might just have one part selected. You go to export, and that won't select all the other pieces in your time capsule. So make sure you have everything in this design selected, and then export as an STL. Attach your STL inside of Teams. Make sure that you also change the file name. Change the file name so I know whose file belongs to who when I'm putting them inside of the 3D printer. So if you have any questions of how to make these pieces hollow, which part should be facing up, how to attach one part to another form, go ahead and let me know. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And feel free to watch any of the other related videos.